Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the Toshiba Z20t. What we have here is a Core M convertible with digital stylus support and massive battery life. The first thing that I want to show off when it comes to the design itself is the convertible function. We have a tablet, it works just fine, no problems here at all. The great thing here is you can also attach it the other way around to use it as a tablet with both batteries, and you can use it in some kind of presentation mode. That all works fine. If you switch it the other way around, you can of course use it as a laptop. The only smaller caveat though is when you lean it back, that is the maximum angle and it does wobble a little bit. So that's about that. If we take a closer look at the tablet itself now, the left hand side has nothing. On the bottom we can see the docking mechanism and the port for the charging. On the right side we have headphone jack, micro SD card slot, micro HDMI, micro USB, two status LEDs for battery and power, volume rocker, power button and SIM card tray. My main complaint about this is only the buttons here, because they are almost flush, very hard to feel and very hard to press. Other than that, it is really made quite well because it feels very solid, very sturdy. With 730 grams it is also quite nice in terms of weight. The bezels are also of a good size, so you can really hold on to it very well. So it's also quite thin, as you can see. So really nicely done as a tablet. So let's take a closer look at the keyboard then. In terms of ports, we have here unlock, so you can lock the tablet and can't remove it anymore. VGA, full size HDMI. On the right hand side we have two USB 3.0, Ethernet and port for the charging once again. Also built very well. It has rubber feet, can be so all done fine, no complaints here either. As for the keyboard itself is a very good one and definitely better than something like the Surface type cover, but it can't quite compete with the best ones here, for example the ThinkPad line or the Latitude line when it comes to their convertibles, because the keyboard itself feels a little bit cramped, also a little bit of a shallow key travel and a hard bottoming out. Other than that, it is quite good. We have two level backlight, we have multiple function keys, you can also have function lock, but I wouldn't recommend it since many functions are on the letters. But in overall, the typing experience is quite nice because it is not a loud clicky keyboard. That works good and you can type on it very well after all, but if you plan to mostly type on it, there are alternatives that are better, but it's still a good one. As for the trackpad, the friction is done very well. It is a little bit on the smaller side, which is normal for a convertible. The buttons work fine. Multi-finger gestures were accepted really nice and good. So not really any complaints. The only thing is we have a software that allows you to activate multi-finger gestures in Windows, but these are still customized for Windows 8.1 and not really for 10, because you can't make advantage of the Windows 10 gesture set, which is a little bit of a bummer, but maybe could come in a future update. So let's take a look at the display then. I have to use it on the stand because it's easier to film and maybe you will have some kind of flickering, but the display 12.5 inches, 1080p, and in most cases sharp enough. The display itself is definitely sharp enough, but still it has a little bit of scaling issues in certain cases. Text will just look a little bit fuzzy, but that's a Windows thing and nothing you could blame the device for. What is great though is we have a matte display, as you can see here, but no signs of any crystallized pattern. It is just a matte panel, and one of the actually best ones because it doesn't really feel like a matte one, and this can be seen here. White also quite nice, slightly on the warmer side, but definitely okay. Maximum brightness is also well. Deep blacks, all very nice, no backlight bleed at all. The only thing that you will see is some kind of waveforming if you press a little bit harder than you would usually press on the screen though. Colors are really nice, and this is what I meant, because usually a matte panel has very washed out and dull colors, which is not the case here. They still seem very vibrant, very accurate and very natural. So definitely really well done. Viewing angles are also absolutely stable. Maybe you can see this here a little bit better. No complaints here at all. So once again, as I said, it is one of the best, if not, I think I would even say the best matte panel I've seen so far. There are better panels in general, but for a matte panel this is the best one because it didn't feel like a matte panel, and this is one that I could definitely use for myself. Okay, let's check the sound then. The speakers are here at the front. If you can maybe see them, they are here. So they are front facing and they are stereo. But then again, if this would be a laptop, I would say it's not good enough. And if it would be a consumer laptop, I would say the same. But since it's a business device and a tablet itself, I can get past that. So it is in most cases loud enough. Don't really have too much issues about that. The sound is okay, a little bit flat, a little bit tinny. But like I said, for a business tablet it is fine, and in some certain situations, even for a consumer, it would be enough. Because for a tablet, it's still okay. Let's go to the performance then. The SSD is very fast. Only the 4K read speeds were a little bit off. Other than that, the performance was just fine. Really good SSD. We have 4 GB of RAM here, which can be a little bit not maybe enough for really a lot of multitasking, but there is an 8K or an 8 GB option as well. If we check the scrolling here in the browser when it comes to the Core M performance, this is something where I'm absolutely amazed by, because the Core M can handle browsers really well, and this, for example, is Chrome. And as you can see here, super smooth scrolling within Chrome. And I just did, since I have it right now, a comparison with an i7 in the Dell XPS 13, and it didn't come even close to this scrolling performance. So I'm not quite sure why, but for some reason the Core M is able to provide the best browsing experience on laptops that I usually see, even better than an i5, because loading times are fast, not quite as fast as on an i5, but definitely the scrolling, if you use it with a touchpad, is superior to those. So I'm not quite sure what they did, but whatever they did very well. When it comes to heavier tasks though, there you are a little bit more limited with the Core M, that is for sure. You can do video and photo editing, and if you use maybe something like Power Director that supports QuickSync, the output times will be nice. But if you use maybe Adobe Premiere, editing with a slightly diminished preview quality is possible, but the output times, the final rendering, will be quite long. Too long if you want to use it on a daily basis. But since it's a business device, I don't think that will be the case, because for all office and business situations, I think it would be doing just fine, no problems. Next thing to talk about would be the battery life, which is phenomenal. We have 36 milliwatt hours of battery in both the keyboard dock and the tablet. So the charging times are about the same. 1 hour to 50%, 2.5 to 100. So the whole combo needs 5 hours, which is a little bit long, but therefore the battery life is absolutely outstanding. I got, if you see the stats, values of 10 hours in general, also 17, but also 8 hours. But I would see, because you have to keep one thing in mind, I couldn't possibly use this device for 10 hours a day, or 12 or even more. And what it showed me usually within, when I checked the battery life, was even 12 and 13 hours. So that's what I would see more realistic, because the 10 hours I think are more of an incorrect calculating of the battery report in Windows 10. I would say 10 hours are a given if you use the whole combo, and 12, 13 hours and more are possible, since I use the brightness of 60%. And if you go lower or do mostly low-end tasks like just typing, then I think you can get even a way bigger battery life. When it comes to heat and noise, noise is no issue at all, since we don't have a fan and we don't have any sort of coil one, which is absolutely great, something that is not the case in every device. The heat, it only gets a little bit warm on this side of the device. That is quite fine. It's the one side where I hold the device though, so a little bit of a bummer, but it doesn't really get warm. And it doesn't throttle, which is a big bonus. No throttling at all. I couldn't see anything of that. And when it comes to the performance, let me quickly show off the Stylus, which is done really nice. Because the great thing is, we have a matte panel here and we have a quite good needle here. So if you use it like this, it actually feels, maybe you can hear this, like drawing on paper. So this has been done also. You can eraser. You can use it as an eraser. That works also really nice. It is very precise, has almost no latency. I couldn't find any issues with that. I don't have a really nice handwriting, but everything works nice. Also to the sides, no issues. Sometimes the palm rejection didn't work quite out, but I think this is, at least so far from all the styluses I've tried, the best one, because it feels so nice, like it would be on paper, which you won't have on any glossy display, like for example on the Surface. And for me this makes a huge difference, because it just feels so natural to write on this. Absolutely fine. So when it comes to the software, we are using Windows 10. As you can see, nothing really out of the ordinary, everything works. Windows snapping, of course, works as well. You have the tablet mode, you have the desktop mode, all that works fine. You have a little bit too much, maybe some kind of Toshiba software installed, but you can uninstall that. So all that works very fine, no problems at all. So that's why I want to go to the build, to the recap. Design and build quality, as I already said, really have been done nice. For what you get, the size of 1.5 kilos is absolutely fine, no problems. It is a little bit heavier than a comparatively same laptop, but you have the convertible function, which is definitely a nice bonus, and you won't get a digital stylus in other cases. So build quality, in terms of ports, it's nice. The only thing I'm missing is the full-size SD card slot. The micro SD card is a little bit of a bummer. I think there would have been place for something like that as well. The display, as already said, I think pretty much the best matte convertible panel I've tested so far. There are better panels, but not better matte panels, at least not that I've tried so far. Sound would be one of the weakest parts here, but still absolutely okay for a business device completely. And if you want to use it as a consumer, in most cases it should still be fine, but it won't blow you away. The performance, for most basic tasks, office and business work, it should be absolutely powerful enough. Great SSD, 4 or 8 gigabytes should be also enough. It handles normal tasks very, very well. Browsing and all those things easily are on par in terms of feel with a way more high performance device like for an i5 or i7. Only the higher end, heavier tasks like video, photo editing, and maybe some number crunching will be slower, but I think it's a good compromise because of the amazing battery life. Because I'm not quite sure what Toshiba did here with this Core M to get this great battery life, because I've already used quite a bunch of Core M devices, and actually the battery life itself was a little bit disappointing in most cases. If a similar device maybe just got me 4 hours of screen on time with the tablet, where I can get 6 hours maybe here. And as a whole combo, 10 to maybe even 12, 13 or 15 hours is something I haven't seen on any device before, so really impressive. Heat is no issue, noise is absolutely no issue, and the software is also well done. Stylus works absolutely fine. So I can definitely tell you one thing, it is the best convertible that I've reviewed so far. But the one downside, it is also the most expensive one. Here it costs about $1,700. Of course, regional prices will vary a lot, I've seen that. So if you can find it for a lower price, for a good price, I can absolutely recommend, because for what it is done remarkably well. It doesn't have really any flaws. The speaker would be if the smaller downside. The keyboard also not maybe for the heaviest typing, but the rest, display, build quality, performance, stylus support, versatility, absolutely top. Nothing to say otherwise. So you've seen it, you know it. Let me know what you think, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and reshare this video. And like I said, if you have any comments and you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below. Until next time, bye.